though, I was like, pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty. Like, was that okay?
But wait, there's more.
The conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title. And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
Hold up.
Hold up.
There's
Stop
several
right now.
there's several conversations.
There's a
about
conversation with you
with Harry
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
Oprah, they're so racist. That's not racist. Because even black people want to know how brown the baby gonna be.
That conversation I'm never going to share.
Ooh, this is uncomfortable.
We'll talk when we get home.
Hello, I'm little. There we go. It wouldn't flip over from one to the other. Hello, everybody. Welcome and good to see you all. Happy Wednesday night. We're going to talk Revenge by Tom Bauer. And I apologize profusely because I just downed a bag of Kirkland movie theater popcorn and treated myself to a soda along with it. It's diet, but still, I'm trying to get away from it. Okay. It's probably not smart because I don't want to keep cleaning my teeth out while I'm talking to you. Oh, but it was so good. All right, who is here? I'll say hello and then we'll get started. We have 2 chapters. I believe it's 5 and 6. So I'll double check. We have our lovely moderator, Miss Lynn Skinner. Thank you for being here, Lynn. Queen Lynn. She is the queen because she's in charge of us all. All right, Joni C is here. Hi, good to see you. And Amy D, hello. Okay. Nadine, hello. Good to see you. Wendy's Front Yard, good to see you. Hello. Okay. Mama Squirrel. Always good to see Mama Squirrel. Mama Squirrel's good for a few laughs. A lot of laughs, not just a few. Every time she's in the house. Okay. I'm so sorry. Aw, thanks, Nadine. Okay. We haven't even started yet. Lynn's already discussed it. Obligatory baby. Rent a kid. It's Mama Squirrel. Do you notice how I said she didn't have a baby? I said she got a baby. I mean, we don't know. Nobody knows how. Oh, goodness. Let's see. And Jen is here. Hello, Jen. See? Yep, see? Jen saw it. Get a baby. Maybe Oprah passed them out. You get a baby. You get a baby. We don't know exactly where from. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you. But a baby she did get. And then a second she did get. Gosh, I can't wait to get all to the bottom of all of that. I really can't. I have never heard her. I'm so sorry. I've never heard her deny all those allegations. It's just been silence. On the flip side, I will say, because I was inundated receiving all this stuff, the whole baby bump thing is just weird. I mean, something's odd. The one clip I didn't put in the video that I had made when I was like, take a look at some of these pictures. There is a video of her walking towards like the crowd and someone's filming her, and her stomach is swishing like side to side as she's walking. Like it's disconnected from her body and swaying side to side. It's the swoosh belly. I mean, just the weirdest. All of these things just can't be coincidence. They just can't be a coincidence. Like, I don't think somebody could have edited that. Like, there's the other part of my brain that's like, did somebody do all this editing of all these photos and put them up in a way that, I mean, I know for a fact that day where she had the incredible shrinking stomach, where she was wearing the red and the purple and started off very pregnant that day and like always pushing her coat back so everyone could see her pregnant belly, and it was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And it looked like she didn't even have a belly by her last engagement. And I was going to write down what those engagements were. And when I looked it up online and I was reading on that day where those places were, because I was trying to make sure I had the sequence proper. I'm like, it looks like it's going down, but like, what if it went back up again? Well, maybe it is just a really weird angle if it was bigger at the end, or maybe it got pumped back up. I don't know. At any rate, I would think that they would just make them solid to put on, not that you have to inflate them, right? Or maybe they do the inflation because you can have different levels of inflation. It's only one belly. See, I thought you bought multiple bellies and you just changed them out. That's what I would do, especially if I had her kind of money, and they would just be solid. At any rate, I looked it up online to see the locations, to see when she was walking out of someplace, make sure it was indeed going down. And it was, but I'm reading the article and it said, oh, Harry and Meghan on this day visited, blah, blah, blah. And their fourth appointment for the day, they did not attend. They skipped it. Instead, somebody went in their place and donated a wreath or did something at one place. They never went to the fourth location. I just thought that was huge. That was my own little find. I didn't read that one on the internet. Well, I did read on the internet that they didn't go to the fourth place, but nobody talked about that. The incredibly shrinking belly over the course of 3 appointments in the day. Appointment number 4, they did not attend. She didn't have her pump with her bike pump. Where's the bike pump? Oh, it would just be incredible. Just incredible. Maybe on an Enneagram, is that what they're called? I don't know. I've never taken one of these tests before. Maybe I'm the same as Robin Brown. Maybe I like drama. Maybe, but I don't like to be with people who create drama, and I don't like to be with people who are overly sensational about things and make a bigger deal out of things that they don't have to, and are too reactionary and all that. So I don't think so. I think Robin really enjoys that too. My friends are all pretty chill and nice because I don't have time for drama, but I have time for this drama for sure. Okay. Oh, yeah, that is a really good point. Wait, oh, my chat just, where did it go? Amy D wrote, the hospital video confirmed the deception. Why would she post that? Right? Now, there's no editing of that. That is on her Instagram and still is. That's what shocked me. I made a recording of it directly from her Instagram page. Yes, I did. Directly from her Instagram page. And that belly is just, she's taking it and moving it up and down. Like, unless she's a freak of nature. See, If she had never had a baby, she wouldn't know these things. She wouldn't know how restricted your movements are and how hard it is to turn, how hard it is to get up and down. There is a video, I didn't even point out some stuff in the video, but she just kept bending down, getting up without grabbing anything, without holding anything, all these appointments in stiletto heels, just up and down with a very large belly in front of her. And I'm thinking, I mean, maybe she's special. Maybe she can do this. But what surprised me even more is in some of these engagements, Harry's standing right next to her, not even attempting to help her get up. I've never seen him help her get up or get down. There was one time she was really pregnant going down these stairs in the middle of them, no railings or anything. Like, even if my husband was clueless and didn't know to help me, I would say, I just remember many times grabbing his arm when I would go places. He didn't always know what I felt like and what wasn't, but I think down big stairs like that, especially with cameras and everything, the first thing most soon-to-be dads would do of a pregnant mom would be make sure she's okay and doesn't go tumbling down these steps because her center of gravity's off. Unless he didn't know her center of gravity was off, because he had never been with a pregnant woman either. Which makes it seem like she wasn't pregnant, right? Yeah, no, I don't think she does know. I mean, clearly she doesn't know, because she wouldn't have done that with her. She thinks she's being all cool until you go, but. No. I mean, she's probably not taking it down now because it would look worse. Like now she's trying to hide it. Can't hide it. It's on Reality TV Breakdown. I got the footage. Took a video of it. All right. But that's the other thing. That's going to be another video I'm going to make, because I have so many photos. Wherever she goes, she's got her hand underneath her belly. Now, I remember at times saying to I do remember specifically, because I was like, I don't think I touched my belly at all, really, when I was walking around, like, look at my belly. Like, I just walked normally. Like, I had a job. I was like working as a speech therapist, dealing with little kids. I had, bags and things I was carrying and whatnot. So like I wasn't touching, but even when I wasn't, I do remember though, one time, was I sitting or standing? I just remember saying to my husband, it just is a comfortable shelf. So sometimes it's just nice to relax, but she never did that. Like if I was going to have my hands on my belly, I was resting them on my belly, like as a place to just sort of rest them rather than have them at the side, because you feel like you're getting bigger. And so it's just kind of like, put your hands here. Never did I hold underneath my belly. Never that I recall, but she does every single engagement. Everyone. Again, she doesn't know what to do with your hands when you're pregnant. She probably saw somebody once do it and thought, oh, that'll be what I'll do. But that's not what people do. That's not what I did. I just kind of used it as a shelf, or I didn't touch it. I mean, people don't sit there and touch their stomachs all day long. And, okay, here are all the things that came to my mind. And if you look at her shower, sometimes everyone puts their hands on your stomach, and there's like that picture of all your friends touching the baby. All of them were away. Not one person touched her stomach. So I believe she said, I'm really freaked out. I don't like people touching my stomach so much, but let's do one where you're close and everyone has their hands close. So there's this picture with all these hands, and it's just a zoom in of the hands around her belly, but none of them are on top of her. None of them are touching. None of them got to feel it. So I thought that was interesting too. Gosh, there was one other thing that just came to my mind that I'm like, God. there's just so many things that point to it, but it's such an incredible, massive lie that the other part of my brain goes, there's no way she thought she could get away with that twice. No way. So then I think, no. Plus, she said she had a miscarriage, which, I mean, I guess it's possible, but not if she had a hysterectomy, which is what the father said. But then I don't know how much I trust the father and her brother, to be completely honest with you. I don't know how trustworthy they are, or her mother. If Trevor came out and said it, now they said Trevor said it, but you know, it's like he said, she said, she said that she said. So it's too far down the line. And Trevor's saying nothing. There's a good book. That man, if he wants to get some money, wonder if he signed an NDA. Oh, we could sit here and just talk all day, but we got to get to the book. Oh, Want a Pizza Me's here. Hello. Good to see you. Jane is here. Hi, welcome. That's all right, Jane. Don't worry that you're late. We're just sitting here, but you missed the intro, so you're going to have to go back and rewatch. Wendy's front yard. I think I said hello to you already, Wendy, didn't I? Just in case. Maureen, hello. Good to see you. All right. Kitty's here. Hi, Kitty. And Maureen's our resident English representative, right? Please tell me if I have that wrong. Kitty said she put her hands underneath her belly because her house stairs are narrow and you were afraid to hurt it. Like when you were going down the stairs. Well, why didn't you use your hands to hold the railing? Do you not have a railing? See, in America, you have to have a railing. Oh, you're in America, Kitty. Wait, did you not have a railing? Well, you have to get a railing if you ever decide to sell that house. Yeah, Amy, the dad definitely is not trustworthy. Yeah, see, that's the only caveat. It seems like our source of information, not the best. Yeah, the line of succession is the most shocking part of all of this. But then it becomes a huge, bigger story because how did the royal family not know? They were around her for that whole year. And then after he was born too, like they had to have known, right? They had to have known. Or at least some of them did. Because the staff had to know. You know, there's people who saw her and saw that belly on a chair somewhere at some point. I don't know. Okay. Okay, never underestimate the manipulation of a psycho horse beast. Okay. Oh, Want a Pizza Me. That's a good point. It was itchy, wasn't it? I keep putting lotion on it because it was so itchy. Yes. No. Okay, you're in Canada. House is over 100 years old. No railing. Well, then, yeah, I could see how that would be scary going down especially. Narrow stairs going down. I think with even 100-year-old houses in America, though, you have to have a railing. Maybe you can take it off after you. I know you do when you sell it. It's a code, but I suppose in your own house, you can do what you want to do. So there you go. All right. Now, maybe you guys can help me with this. You might know a little bit more than me. I was pretty certain that she talked about a miscarriage between the two pregnancies. But then I came across information about a miscarriage before Archie. And I'm like, oh, I was wrong. But then I went and I got Netflix for a month. So I could watch the documentary that was on Netflix about the two of them. And no, indeed, it was between Archie and Lilibet that they said that she miscarried. So did she miscarry twice, or did she say she miscarried twice, Or was somebody just inaccurate on that first one in their reporting? Does anyone know about a miscarriage before Archie? She got pregnant with him pretty soon, but okay. Yes, Maureen. Maureen in the UK. Whoop, whoop. I love that you're here and you can answer all our British questions for us and royal family info. It's past midnight. Yeah, they didn't follow any of the normal royal birth protocols with Archie. I can believe the royal family wouldn't know. Really? Because they're that separate, huh? Yeah, I mean, he can't even talk to his father. He can't even pick up the phone and call him, apparently. Like, you have to go through this person and that person. And he's trying right now to make an arrangement to have a meeting. I don't even know if it's to talk to him on the phone or to talk to him in person, but like, he has to meet with these people and his people have to meet with Prince Charles' people, and then they have to decide and then get it on the calendar if they're going to do it. It just becomes, and then on the documentary, we were seeing how he was going to meet with the Queen, and then he got a phone call from the Queen's people saying she's not going to meet with you. She's not able to meet with you this week while you're in town. And then he called, well, he was able to ring through. I mean, he had to go via somebody else, but she did take his phone call. And he's like, oh, we're going to come. She's like, oh, yeah, I just found out. I'm busy. So it's almost like the royals, they're not in control of their schedule at all. It's like they just have schedulers. They have people who plan things and that. And I just wake up in the morning and go, where am I going today? You probably have people who pick out the clothes, pick out the thing and say, you just have to make sure you're up before this time and you're going to have a schedule full until 6 p.m. or something like that. I would actually love that because my life is so crazy and I'm responsible for so much. To just wake up and have somebody say, all right, we got your whole day planned. You get your clothes planned. We're going to help you put your clothes on. I don't know. That always creeped me out a little bit. I'd be like, no. You can go. I can put my own clothes on. I'll call you if I need help with a zipper. Other than that, I'm okay. I got it. All right. Okay. And then they moved to a cottage. Before they went to Frogmore Cottage, they were in, was it Kensington? No, Kensington's a palace. There was another cottage they were in, wasn't it? I thought there was. Okay, it doesn't matter. We got to get going here because this guy is long-winded. It takes us a minute or two to get through 2 chapters. I just spent 30 minutes yapping away. But this past week, I was really inundated with Harry and Meghan, so it's been really on my mind. I haven't really focused on Sister Wives as much. I need to now. But chapter 5 we are doing. And it's called Manhunt. This is going to be an interesting chapter because she is so into women empowerment that it's interesting to me to see the patterns of what people are saying about how she would pursue and go after a man with money. Like, make your own money, sweetheart. How empowered are you? Don't need a man. But she does. Okay, let's see what the book says. Here we go, chapter 5. Revenge by Tom Bauer. Meghan flew across the Atlantic in November of 2013 to secure contracts for work and on a manhunt. Again, we haven't met Harry yet for anyone who's just joining in and haven't read the other. We've just read about her being born, growing up, her mom and dad, and then going to college and then friends throughout that. And then we read about Deal or No Deal, right? And we read about that job. And then we read about her getting this job, right? Gosh, it's all a blur because I've been so inundated with information. I don't know what I read and what I've like read online this past week. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes, we read that. We read about Deal or No Deal. We read about her getting the job on Suits. Okay. So now she is going to find some more work because she feels like her work is unstable. Why? Because she's the sixth person. Lest she imply that she was the lead principal on this show. No wonder I'd ever heard of her. She was sixth in line. So, like, probably year to year, she didn't know if she was going to get re-upped or not. Scarlett's here. Hi, Scarlett. Okay. So, November 2013, she goes across the Atlantic, which I believe is directly to London, but it doesn't say, to secure some contracts for work and to go on a manhunt. To promote herself, she had hired Sunshine Sachs, which is a PR agency in Los Angeles, famous for crisis management and known to represent Ben Affleck, Bon Jovi, Aerosmith, Leonardo DiCaprio, Justin Timberlake, Jennifer Lopez, Snoop Dogg, and Natalie Portman. I knew all those names so many times in this book. It's like these names, I'm like, I don't know who these people are. Americans. All right, I'm sorry. The firm denied reports that they represented disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein in 2015. Oh, apparently this PR agency also represented Harvey Weinstein, but they denied they did. Ken Sunshine, a 69-year-old former political consultant turned publicist, was a well-connected Democrat who had worked for a series of presidential and mayoral candidates, including George McGovern, Mario Cuomo, the young Bill de Blasio, and proudly for the Clintons. The agency promoted itself as a crisis management group, and its detractors would smirk that Sunshine was sunny by name but murky by deeds. We don't play it safe. We're not genteel, Ken Sunshine had said. We name names and we battle the media when we have to. The agency was accused of doctoring their clients' wiki entries to remove negative material. I just assumed all celebrities, PR or representatives or just personal assistants did that anyway. Checked on a weekly basis at their wiki and then took out anything that was negative or incorrect and fixed it. But apparently that's sensational. I mean, I would, because anybody can alter a wiki page. So surprised more of them are not altered with negative comments, that are not true. That shocks me now that I think about it. Okay, moving on. Among Sunshine's trusted partners was Keely Thomas Morgan, a pleasant-looking middle-aged woman. Sunshine Sachs were paid about $7,500 a month to transform an unknown actress into a global celebrity. Among their earliest attempts to make a star of Meghan was an appearance in January of 2013 at Elle magazine Celebration in West Hollywood of Women in Television. Media coverage of the event only made brief mention of Meghan Markle. Meghan's first stop was Trinity College, Dublin. Okay, so when she flew across, she went to Ireland first. The student organizers of the college's Philosophical Society had sent out hundreds of invitations to celebrities to address their annual conference. Previous speakers included Angela Merkel, Joe Biden, and Nancy Pelosi. Among the very few replies that year was Meghan's. She accepted the invitation. Some students were skeptical that an audience would be attracted to her from the unknown Rachel Zane. Fearing a disappointment, they decided in advance to award her the plastic Bram Stoker Medal, rather than the prestigious honorary patronage. The pessimists proved to be wrong. Packed wall to wall, Meghan wowed the students wearing a jumper, distressed skinny ripped jeans, black stilettos, and holding a Louis Vuitton bag. Quite clearly, Suits had a cult audience. The students admired Meghan's undisguised self-identification with Rachel Zane. She's layered and humanized. Even though she seems so confident, she really has all those insecurities and vulnerabilities. And I relate to that as a woman, and I think fans will too. At the end, she headed to Dicey's, a popular haunt for students, to promote E2 drinks. Next up was London. Neil Ransom, a jobbing, some of these words I've never heard before, jobbing, Jobbing. Okay, anyway, a jobbing publicity agent at the Insanity Group had been hired to negotiate publicity for Meghan in the tabloids. Before her arrival, Ransom had approached dozens of gossip and showbiz journalists. He was universally ignored. No one had heard of Meghan Markle or Suits. After incessantly pestering Katie Hind, a junior reporter at the Sunday People, a comparatively small circulation newspaper, Ransom secured his reluctant agreement to meet Meghan. On a cold evening, the two women drank Prosecco on the rooftop of the Sanctum Soho Hotel. In her engaging manner, Meghan admitted that she was not keen on American men and had discounted finding a husband in Canada. By contrast, she liked how Englishmen called women darling and were suckers for a compliment. She hoped for an opportunity to meet the right Englishman, she said. Not least, she proclaimed, because she excelled at networking. She had developed that skill down to a fine art. Hind was bemused. Unexpectedly, Meghan next asked Katie Hind about Ashley Cole, the Chelsea and England footballer. Proudly, Meghan showed a photo of Cole on her iPhone. Cole, explained Meghan, had followed her on Twitter and they had exchanged messages. Hind's advice was empathetic. Cole was infamously unfaithful to his wife, was unreliable, and known for his erratic lifestyle. Meghan's face, Hind noticed, became downcast and disappointed. Strangely, Cole would deny that he ever exchanged messages with Meghan. He recalled that the cast of Suits sent him a message that they liked him, and he returned the acknowledgement. Therefore, Cole claimed nothing happened. I don't know, but if he's a philanderer, who can we believe, really? Meghan's presentation of Cole as a possible boyfriend, he suggested, was just a fantasy. Cole's famous football friends recall a different version. Meghan, Cole had boasted to those teammates, was chasing him. That's nice. A married man. Okay. With that, Meghan and Hind, both 32 years old, discussed their common problem. They were single and searching for a permanent relationship. Neither had a solution. The night ended with Meghan heading back to her nearby hotel and Hind noting that the American craved publicity. However, despite Meghan's enthusiasm, Hind decided she was not worth mentioning in her newspaper. She was not a story. Oh man, this is not how I thought that was going to go. I thought they were going to become besties because they were the same age, both single, looking for guys. Thought they were going to hang out that night and go to a pub after they were done with this. And, that took a turn that I didn't expect. The following night was Meghan's big chance. She had been flown to London to co-host a TV gala with fashion model Oliver Cheshire, whom she didn't know. I don't know who that is either. Standing on the red carpet in Leicester Square, I probably butchered that, I apologize, Meghan grinned. At that moment, grasping Cheshire's hand, there was nothing she wanted more than her photo to feature in the next day's tabloid newspapers. She prayed for publicity. The editors rejected her plea. Their readers had no interest in Miss Nobody. Inside the cinema, Meghan met Lizzie Cundy, a glamour-seeking TV personality. Over a drink, Meghan confessed that Hollywood was brutal and she had failed to make a breakthrough. Her ambition was to feature on an English reality show like Made in Chelsea. And she wanted an English boyfriend. Isn't Made in Chelsea like really popular in England? Like, I've heard of that. I've never heard of Suits, and I live in America. But I've heard of Made in Chelsea a couple times. I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. I assumed it was a reality show. I thought it was a reality show following somebody. But I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I've just heard the name. I just find it funny that I've heard of that, which we don't have here in America. I don't think. I've never heard of Suits. That I know we had. Okay. So her ambition was to feature on an English reality show like Made in Chelsea, and she wanted an English boyfriend. Quote, "Do you know any famous guys?" she asked. "I'm single, and I really love Englishmen. Do you know anyone who's free?" Once again, she mentioned Ashley Cole. "He's following me on Twitter." Cundy's own marriage to a footballer had hit the rocks. She was not keen on Cole. Meghan seemed disappointed. At the end of the evening, Meghan returned to her hotel alone. Her tips to the paparazzi and Ransom's efforts had produced just one passing mention in the Daily Mail gossip column. There were no paragraphs. The only good news was that Nick Eade, a fixer paid by Sunshine Sachs to book her appearance on this TV gala, had also arranged for her to meet Jonathan Shalit, a successful and likable TV agent. "I want to be a TV celebrity chef like Gordon Ramsay," Meghan told Shalit in his office. Or, she volunteered, she would be happy to appear in any other non-scripted TV show. Shalit was excited. She was charming, good-looking, and admired by the small audience for Suits. He was unaware that while Meghan liked eating good food, her cooking skills were limited. Other than blender-made vegetable soup, her specialties were plain pasta, roast chicken, barbecued hamburgers, and steak. The rest of her food was bought ready-made. Rather than cook, she imagined fronting a TV program to tour the world tasting food. Of course she did. Of course she did. "You know what I'm interested in? I'm interested in you paying me a few $1 million that I just pocket, and then on your dime, you will fly me all around the world to taste different Michelin restaurants. And I'll stay there for a week to, kind of take it all in. And then we can do a little review of it at the end. That would be great. The people will love it." A short video of her tasting pickles in Brooklyn for Oro TV exposed her limitations. There was neither magic nor magnetism. The program idea evaporated. See, that's the problem. She just doesn't have that it factor that makes you want to hear more. I think she's pleasant. I think she appears like she's always acting, and I actually think she is always acting because she came right out in the book and said how shocked she was when William and Kate came over and they were still in their royal persona. And she just thought, oh, I thought after we get behind closed doors, we just relax and we're just ourselves. Meaning she's always acting when she's out there, which is fine, play the part, but let it be known it's all an act. That's not who she really is. Okay. Undeterred, Shallot arranged an audition for Strictly Come Dancing. Reluctantly, she declined. Tied to a Suits contract for 9 months in the year, the timing clashed with filming in Britain. Disappointed, Shallot bid her farewell. She returned to Toronto without either new work or a new man. That was the shortest chapter we've ever read. We're at chapter 6 now. Maybe they have to start getting a little shorter, right? Because, what did I say? There are like 40 some chapters. Okay. Chapter 6 is Influencer. On Meghan's 33rd birthday, on August 2014, under the headline, quote, birthday suit, she posed a seductive topless side shot of herself. Her self-justification for self-objectifying was pertinent. I don't see beauty and empowerment as separate things. Self-empowerment and women's rights, I put them in the beauty section. Yeah, women's rights gets categorized in the beauty section. That's a crazy quote. The photo was the high point of the year's work to reinvent herself as an influencer. Okay, I got to pause for a second before I hit the next paragraph. Can I just point out that Meghan pregnant would 100% do the bare belly photo. I mean, especially, maybe not with Harry because she was still in the royal family at the time, but she would probably have the photos somewhere where she could release them. Like, she is all about herself and showing off, and a pregnant belly, like those, some of them are just completely naked women, but they do them in a way that you don't see everything. But even if it wasn't that, if it was just like a see-through lingerie kind of thing, and she just kind of covered herself in certain ways, or whether it's like a nightie that was open over her belly and you see the bare belly stick out, like, it just is so something Meghan would do. Absolutely. So that's another reason that it's hard to believe that the only picture we saw is that really weird one from a distance, like somebody took it from another room and it was dark and she apparently was showing her baby belly, but it's so murky that you can't even make out I didn't even realize it was a picture of her with it. So I guess like she knows she would do one, so she has that picture, but like you can't see anything in it. It's pretty much, it's black and white too, I think. Anyway, the fact that we don't have all these Lilibet in her belly photos is suspicious to me. Uncertain how long her income from Suits would last and unusually careful with money, Meghan had registered a slew of websites. Posh Beauty, Spoon Me, Fork Me, Lollytots, and Foodie Pup. Well, I don't know why that one didn't take off. Lollytots and Foodie Pup. I don't know. Again, maybe they're British words. To leverage her celebrity. Well, that's not going to work. Lollipops and Foodie Pup. That's going to make her popular. All right. The idea was not original. Meghan had observed Hollywood's royalty, including Angelina Jolie and Emma Watson, famous for her role in Harry Potter film series, become profitable influencers. Meghan's skill was to absorb and copy those that she admired and to also learn from their mistakes. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Well, maybe they didn't make enough mistakes. Maybe she was the first one to make some of these mistakes. With her new proximity to Toronto's aspiring influencers at Soho House, she followed Sophie Trudeau's attempt to establish herself as a gender equality activist and an ambassador for the, quote, I am a girl, end quote, initiative. And she watched Jessica Mulroney floundering in her search for an online identity. The trick, she realized, was to create a brand. Laced through a narrative of her opinions and lifestyle, she promoted fashionable causes and celebrities with endorsements and praise. Interspersed in the gush, she promoted fashion and cosmetics for a fee. As a self-proclaimed inspiration junkie, she charged the manufacturers to be associated with a high-priced, ultra-fashionable star. For the first year, none of her websites took off. Her next idea was the TIG, named after the Italian wine Tignanello, it looks like, and designed by Jake Rosenberg, the Canadian-born designer of Couverture magazine. Couverture, maybe it is. I don't know. Never heard of the magazine. Meghan described herself as the, quote, editor-in-chief of my lifestyle brand, end quote. I'm sorry. I gotta write that down because just so you know, I am the editor-in-chief. Get it right. Of the senior perspective and sister friend brand. That might be my tagline next time down below. Just realized I still have here. Yeah, well, now we have her. Okay. So she was the editor-in-chief of her lifestyle brand, a website to flaunt wealth, luxury clothes, a glamorous jet-setter's lifestyle, and wellness. The TIG, she wrote, is a hub for the discerning palate, those with a hunger for food, travel, fashion, and beauty, and to be a breeding ground for ideas and excitement for an inspired lifestyle. You know why she did that? I'll tell you why she did that right now. She's creating this website, and it covers beauty, fashion, food, travel. That means all those things she can do and now write off of her taxes. They're all write-offs. Anytime she travels, anytime she has food at a nice restaurant, any new clothes. Like, that's why she did this. Registered in 2014 as a product of Frim Fram Incorporated, a Californian company, the TIG was launched in May of 2014. Meghan's routine was to leave early in the morning for the studio, and after a day's filming for Suits, head for the gym. On her return home, she spent the evening scouring the internet for ideas. The assiduous researcher combed the highbrow Economist and lowbrow Darling magazines for snippets. She trawled other websites for ideas, sought free products from luxury brands like, of course, Hermès, in exchange for, they just mentioned one, Hermès, in exchange for promoting their handbags, and emailed endless celebrities for comment and endorsement. To build her credibility, she needed to be associated with stars, if possible, with a photograph to prove their friendship. The celebrity hunter's strength was to seize every opportunity and never take no for an answer. I mean, she is a nobody. So she would go to like an Hermès bag, really? Give it to me for free and I'll promote it on my website. I'd be like, who are you? I wonder if it worked at all. Gosh, who should I be contacting? Peloton. Yeah, I think of places that I should say. I have people all the time say, make a video and we'll give you the product for free. I'm like, I'm not even sure I care about your product. I don't even know if it's good. And I'm not sure I'll even use it. So like, no payment, just use your product. I'm like, somehow I think with 30,000 people subscribe to the channel, you're making out in this deal more than me because of your $100 to $300 product. No. It takes way too much time to make my videos. And I'm way behind. Sister friends are more important. All right. Meghan's routine was to leave early in the morning for the studio, and after a day's filming for Suits, head for the... I just read that. Okay, here we go. Sweet talking her entry into a charity football match on an artificial indoor beach at New York's Pier 40 on the Hudson River. She met, among other players, Serena Williams, the 23rd time Grand Slam tournament tennis singles champion. In Meghan's version on her website, quote, "We hit it off immediately, taking pictures, laughing and chatting, not about tennis or acting, but about good old-fashioned girly stuff. So began our friendship," end quote. I'm just curious, when they're at a football game and it's in America, but this is written by a Brit, is he referring to soccer or is he referring to football? As Americans would call it, football. Anyway, doesn't matter. Noticeably, no photo of Meghan with Williams appeared on the TIG. Oh, that's interesting. No photo of the two of them? When it said she tried to get a photo with everyone? Okay. Brett Ratner, the Hollywood film producer and long-term boyfriend of Williams, never heard her mention Meghan. Although Meghan had never been seen holding a tennis racket, she wrote how she and Serena were united by our endless ambition. Similarly, she secured an introduction to Ivanka Trump, the daughter of the New York property tycoon. Quote, "When we have drinks," she told her followers, quote, "I will make sure I order whatever she does, because this woman seems to have the formula for success and happiness down pat." Ivanka's beautiful designs of shoes, furniture, and clothes were afterwards embraced on the TIG. Not mentioned was Meghan's rejection of Donald Trump's invitation to the party, with the invitation. Okay. Let me start that over. Not mentioned was Meghan's rejection of Donald Trump's invitation to party with him while working on Deal or No Deal. Okay. Also not mentioned was Variety magazine's report announcing the 5th season of Suits. Meghan had been again listed 6th and last in the cast list. The audience, however, was increasing towards 3 million. To build a profile as an opinionated, lifelong star, Meghan hit on a tested formula. She conjured up intimate, personal, quote, revelations that laced with colorful fantasies did not have a totally faithful relation to the whole truth. That sounds like everything that comes out of her mouth. That's her tested formula. Yeah. Coming up with an intimate personal revelation that laced with colorful fantasies did not have a totally faithful relation to the truth. Yes, that sounds like everything that comes out of her mouth. That sentence is also written very weird, but I don't know. Maybe it's my brain not processing it. But I get the gist. Okay. Presenting herself as a racy Hollywood goddess, she mentioned her love for good food, copious amounts of rosé, spicy tequila cocktails, and neat scotch. Describing herself in one post as a saintly hippie, she disparaged fancy restaurants and pledged herself as good company, embracing every little second of it. Well, that changed. She stipulated her ideal man. Dressed in a linen shirt, she visualized him barefoot on a beach, eating a slice of pizza, and inviting her for a drink on the way home. Presents of lingerie from him were always nice. Be the bold adventurer, she advised. I think it's important to roll with the punches and enjoy every minute of it. If he makes you laugh, that helps. So basically, play the part is what she's saying. Always be nice. Be bold, be an adventurer, roll with the punches, and then enjoy every minute of it. And, if he makes you laugh, that's a bonus. The result was a website reflecting a woman of conviction with commercial sensitivity, a character with perhaps a limited sense of humor. That's true. She's not funny. So on that 33rd birthday, she reminisced about her struggles as a teenager and as an actress. She summoned up her recipe for happiness as a single woman. Quote, "You need to know that you're enough." A mantra that has now ingrained itself so deeply within me that not a day goes by without hearing it chime in my head. That 5 pounds lost won't make you happier. That more makeup won't make you prettier. That the now iconic saying from Jerry Maguire, "You complete me," frankly, isn't true. You are complete with or without a partner. You are enough just as you are. So for my birthday, here's what I would like as a gift. I want you to be kind to yourself. I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to stop gossiping, to try a food that scares you, to buy a coffee for someone just because, to tell someone you love them, and then to tell yourself right back, I want you to find your happiness. I did, and it's never felt so good. I am enough. It's a good mantra. We just didn't see her act it out. She was always chasing after another man who could take care of her. The homily on the TIG did not always entirely reflect her own life or occasionally even her personal values. I guess I should have read on. He said exactly what I did. As a purely commercial venture, she understood her market and how to compartmentalize between her real life and the fantasy life she offered her increasing number of followers, which was now heading towards the 100,000 mark. Conjuring fantasies was her unique selling point. The most noteworthy in Meghan's list, composed for, quote, "a guide to living well," end quote, was the entry under the heading non-negotiable kindness. That summer, she met Corey Vitinello, a Toronto restaurateur famous for his burgers and his clientele. The handsome 35-year-old welcomed Hollywood celebrities who were filming in Toronto to the Harvard Room. Vitiello was known for dating several well-known Canadian women, including Belinda Stronach, a glamorous multimillionaire businesswoman and politician. On the 10th of July, 2014, after eating at his restaurant with the Suits cast, Meghan wrote a gushing review in the TIG. Corey was dubbed, quote, "my favorite chef," end quote. Shortly afterwards, Vitiello ended a relationship and started to date Meghan. He sounds like a gem, too. She knows how to pick him. Yeah, but he had money. Together, they rented a 3-bedroom home. She moved. Not only moved in, the two of them rented a place together. Okay, she moved so fast. Oh my God. Together, they rented a 3-bedroom home in the city's Annex District. Through Corey, the life and soul of many parties, and sought after by many women, Meghan was introduced to everyone in Toronto. Swiftly, she became a fixture of the city's social life. Pertinently, Corey Vitiello never featured on the TIG. In the transactional nature of Meghan's relationships with men and women, keeping Corey anonymous was comparable with her own search for fame. Let's do another chapter. It's only been an hour. Those were shorter. You know what? I'll have to pay attention to how many pages these are. Let me see how long this one is. It's not that long. Chapter 7 is called The Irishman. This will help so that this doesn't become a 2-year journey. Oh, gosh. Let's see. I'm sure all the restaurants read the TIG. Yeah. This is the first thing they did in the morning. Get up, check your email. What's happening on the TIG? Wasn't Harry dating some aristocratic girl the royal family liked before? I think so. I got the impression, was it from, it all blends together. It may have been from the documentary on Netflix that Harry did date women of standing in London and women in royal circles in London that he really liked. But in the end, the drama of it all and the attention, they just decided they just didn't want to live that life. Or maybe they obviously just didn't like him enough, because if they fell in love, they would. So. He is the spare, after all. He's not the future king. Okay. He was dating a very beautiful girl. Yes, please, another. Okay. Chelsea, someone. Oh, the blonde. Was that the blonde? Yeah, this is creepy. He has said often that Meghan reminds him so much of his mummy. She says the same too. She was sent to him. Yeah, she says she channels him. Somebody mentioned that she feels like she's channeling Diana and that she gets messages. Talk about manipulating, if that's true. I don't know if it's true. I didn't hear it from her mouth, but somebody said that she tells him that she hears messages from Diana and shares them with him. That'll get him to never leave. She's a direct line to his mummy. I know. Her watching her on the aisle. There's also a a shot of William next to Harry. And it's right after Meghan gets up to the altar and William looks over at her. And some people were joking and saying, oh, he's checking her out because he kind of like looks her up and down. But I mean, to me, it seems really blatant that he looked her up and down and then turned his head like, all right. I don't think it was ooh, let me check her out. Like, I don't know. That was my interpretation of it anyway. All right. Harry did love his mother. Yeah, that's the sad part of it all. That's the manipulation part of it all. I mean, clearly she went and found out what perfume Diana wore and wore it on their first date. And he was dumb too. So I'm not saying it's all her fault. Ugh. Okay. She threw herself on Diana's grave when he took her there. Oh, Maureen, you're kidding. Sick. All right, the Irishman. Maureen, why did you send her back here? We got rid of her to Canada, and she came back. And we got rid of her to Europe. She's back. Okay, the Irishman. Few British men were more famous in the summer of 2014 than the Northern Ireland golfer Rory McIlroy. Maureen, did you know Rory McIlroy? I never heard the name before, but I don't follow golf either. On the 10th of August, shortly after winning the Open Championship in Britain, the 25-year-old won the PGA Championship in one stroke in Kentucky. At 2 a.m. the following morning in New York, McIlroy walked into the Fitzpatrick Hotel on 52nd Street and Lexington Avenue. Everyone who saw him over the following days recalls the golf champion as, quote, hot, hot, hot. He partied nonstop across Manhattan for 24 hours with his entourage. Without a break, he nest flew in a private jet across the Atlantic to Manchester to collect a prize at Old Trafford. That's a phrase I never heard before. I thought it said nest flew. It's next flew. Sorry. He next flew on a private jet. Okay, that makes sense. I'm like, nest flu. Is that when, like a red eye? Is that another name for a red eye? But it's like a nest if you're on a PJ because you get your own bed. I don't know. I had a whole story going in my head, and I just read the word wrong. Next. Okay. After more celebrations with United's footballers, he jetted back to Manhattan to appear on TV and join Tiger Woods to promote golf's big brands. By the 19th of August, he was looking for relaxing fun. McIlroy had just split from his blonde fiancée, Danish tennis ace Caroline Wozniacki, and was reported to be chasing brunettes. Isn't that interesting? Danish. Isn't that what Tiger Woods' wife was? Wasn't she Danish? Something like that. Anyway, all the rage in America at the moment was the ice bucket challenge. Oh, you remember that? I got away without having to do it. Like, I'll give money to whoever. Just don't pour ice on my head. Famous personalities nominated each other to be drenched with ice water to raise money for research into motor neuron disease. Celebrities promoted themselves by posting a video of their ordeal. Unexpectedly, McIlroy nominated Meghan to drench herself with ice. Not uncoincidentally, Meghan was staying with a close friend to the Fitzpatrick Hotel where McIlroy had a suite. She accepted the challenge on condition that Rory come to her friend's apartment and personally pour the bucket over her on the balcony. Dum, dum, dum. She knows how to work it, that's for sure. After the video was posted, the two went to Fitzpatrick's hotel for a drink. That was after they jumped in the shower. I just inserted that. I don't know. They were spotted in the small bar by the hotel's owner, John Fitzpatrick. The 54-year-old American Irishman was renowned as chairman of the American Ireland Fund, as a major promoter of the United Ireland, as a philanthropist donating millions to charities, and as a friend of and donor to the Clintons. He had hosted their New York fundraisers ever since 1991. He's at the front of the grid, wirily observed a businessman, famous for exuding charm as the benefactor of hospitality. The confirmed bachelor was frequently photographed escorting beautiful women, and famous for giving them generous gifts, especially Louis Vuitton stilettos. Media attention flattered his ego. I was in the bar of my hotel, Fitzpatrick recalled, and I saw Rory McIlroy. I walked over and he was with Meghan Markle. I was a huge fan of Suits. Sarah Rafferty, the lead in the series, became a good friend. Fitzpatrick invited the couple for dinner at Cipriani. By midnight, as the golfer and Meghan were photographed sitting close to each other, Fitzpatrick was hosting a party of 20. The following morning, McElroy arrived at the Ringwood Golf Course, say that 10 times fast, 30 miles away, to play in a new competition. Worse for wear, after a hectic night, he fell back to 101st place. Got to pay the price for you partiers. Nevertheless, he refused to sleep as usual near the golf course to be ready for the following day. Instead, he drove back to New York to see Meghan. His performance suffered. I wasn't quite in my game, he confessed. I was enjoying myself. Back in Toronto at the end of the week with Corey Vitinello. I'm probably really slaughtering that poor guy's name. He was the chef, right? Yeah, I think so. Meghan gushed about the golfer in the TIG. Quote, "Ah, yes, Rory McIlroy, the Rory McIlroy." Whispered, quote, and shouted, end quote, to be the foremost golfer in the world. Loved by Tiger, respected by Palmer, and dumper of frigid water onto my lone head for the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. That Rory McIlroy, he is a force who has a he is a force who has a propensity to actually work hard and play hard. Well, he didn't play that hard after he might work hard then play hard, but sometimes he plays hard and then he can't work hard. Relishing intense practices to substantiate his title, embracing nights of sipping Opus One, his bold and impressive choice of wine, and indulging in group dinners at Cipriani for the balance, of course. And yet, boy, she's wordy in her TIG thing. I would look at it for 2 minutes and then I'd be like, next. All right, she's still her quote in the TIG. And yet, beyond his work/play ethic, the most endearing quality of this man is his character. As real and honest as they come, appreciating a simple smile, never shunning a fan photo, enjoying a plate of pasta with veal ragu, and expressing a love for his parents that is rarely seen in men his age, or at any age, to be honest. He is not just the real deal. He is real. And perhaps, oh, it goes on. And perhaps that is what makes him even more cherished. A critical darling and fan favorite. It's for good reason. He is born and raised in Hollywood, Ireland. A long cry from my hometown of Hollywood, California. And yet, lest you think I'm done, he alone could be the impetus for his Hollywood's own Walk of Fame. I imagine they would be glad to welcome that gilded boulevard in his honor. Today's TikTok is still going on, okay, is with the courteous, classy, and ever so talented Rory McIlroy, who, by the way, had the kindness and wherewithal to not put the 2 full bags of ice I bought into the bucket. He wanted me to raise awareness for ALS and yet also survive the challenge. For that, I am most grateful. End quote. Keen to use her close relationship to promote herself, she encouraged the media to publish photographs of McElroy and her. As she would later admit, she, quote, occasionally set up a paparazzi photo or let info slip out to the press, end quote. I love how sometimes how people will just like admit, well, occasionally I'll call the paps and have them know. And then you start to see pictures later on of Meghan that are so blatantly set up. Great that you have an actual quote from her saying, yeah, I do that. Asked by Corey Vitiello whether she was having a relationship with McElroy, Meghan insisted their time together was innocent. He believed her. So she was doing both men at the same time, I guess. Okay. At the time, she anticipated meeting McElroy and Fitzpatrick again in Dublin 8 weeks later. Meghan had lobbied hard to be involved in the One Young World Conference in Dublin. She knew that celebrity in Hollywood was enhanced by philanthropy and activism. To secure her first platform, she asked Mason Harriman, an Anglo-Nigerian photographer, for a favor. I think it says, for a favor. Harriman's friend, the tennis champion Boris Becker, was about to address over 1,000 young people at One Young World Conference in Dublin. Could Becker, asked Harriman, get a slot for Meghan? Becker introduced Meghan to his agent, Gina Nelthorpe Cowan, a glamour South African based in London. Her speciality was to negotiate appearances by famous people in conferences, advertisements, and campaigns. Having booked other clients, having booked another client, Bob Geldorf. Oh, I don't like it when we have all these names. I have no idea who they're talking about. Okay. Having booked another client, Bob Geldof, to speak in Dublin, she was well placed to ask the conference organizer, Kate Robertson, to give Meghan a slot. The actress wanted to speak about gender equality and, quote, positive change. Robertson was cool on the idea. Nobody, including her, knew Meghan Markle. That changed, yeah. And by cool, meaning not keen. Not like cool on the idea. Like cool, not hot. Nobody knew Meghan Markle. Okay, that changed after she spoke to her daughter. The young fan of Suits was instantly enthusiastic. Meghan was booked. Unlike the stars, Meghan would not receive a fee, only expenses. Excited about her trip, she posted a message to an Irish friend of McElroy. Quote, "Lock something down. I head out there October 14 to 17. Have a wonderful night. XMM. Kisses, Meghan Markle." I guess that's what that means. When I first arrived at Meghan's hotel room in Dublin, Nelthorpe Cone, this is a hard last name to say, recalled she was in a toweling bathrobe with her hair tied back. We just clicked. We hugged as if we had known each other for ages. She was delightful, warm, and personable. Nelthorpe Cone sympathized with Meghan's obvious purpose in Dublin to promote her profile, increase her income, and become influential. Nelthorpe Cone noticed that her new client walked gracefully on 4-inch heels and embraced well-wishers, as well as being beautiful and charismatic. She is beautiful and charismatic, and she can walk in 4-inch heels. Meghan had perfected the art of the double-handed greeting. She made everyone feel that they were the only person in the room. Even the star guests, including Mary Robinson, Ireland's former president, and Kofi Annan, a former United Nations Secretary General, were drawn to the flash of her engaging smile and the flicker of an eyelid. Nelthorpe Cone was also charmed. As for Meghan, seeing the famous politicians in the front row as she began her speech, her self-importance soared. Identifying herself as a mixed-race woman, she spoke about her childhood, the, quote, box at school to identify her race, and her feeling of exclusion. Wait, but she said before she never felt. We have that on film. We have that on film after this event where she spoke. So she spoke about, because that fit her narrative, she spoke about feeling excluded. But then later on, after she marries Harry, she goes on to say to the cameras, I don't know if it was for Oprah or if it was for Netflix, I just never felt like, I was never treated like a Black woman. I was somebody who, what was the actual, I can't remember the actual quote. So the only thing she could grasp was when she had to fill out the box, am I Black or white? And she knew she had one Black parent and one white parent, and she didn't know what to put. It's just like, I think everybody would be in that same situation. I don't know that that requires therapy. We have to drag it up so many years later, especially if you felt like, and she went to an extremely multicultural school. So she wasn't a minority there. It was many different countries represented, and they all blended together. So I don't know. She's making up a lot of stories now because the other thing came right out of her mouth. Okay. All right. I'm moving on. But she gave no hint of personality suffering racism, nor did she mention discrimination, and she did not question the status of a mixed-race woman in a white society. Rather, she accepted European values. She made no attempt to describe a personal mission or offer an agenda to change the world. The totality of her speech was to urge her audience to admire her own personal experience and adopt her mantra of togetherness. Word salad. No one could argue against those sentiments. This is just like stating the obvious. The enthusiastic applause, especially by the politicians in the front row, confirmed that her performance had gone down well. In her own mind, as she later described, she had been elevated into the ranks of the powerful. That explained her unusual reaction as she headed towards the hotel lift. That's an elevator for all of you here in America. We don't call them lifts. Okay. A young man politely beckoned her to enter in front of him. I don't need that, she snapped, delivering a tirade to the startled man until the end of the ride. In the background was Corey. He had flown from Toronto with Meghan. Some would suggest in a NetJet paid for by Rory McIlroy. My sister used to work for NetJets. She did contracts for him. She works for a children's hospital now. But anyway, I am familiar with NetJets. Private jet company. All right. He was introduced as a famous chef. Everyone agreed that he was somewhat quiet. Clearly, he was not a Gordon Ramsay type. That same night, Friday the 17th, Meghan left the hotel for dinner with Rory McIlroy at the upmarket restaurant, Fade Street Social. Wait a second. Didn't it just say that her boyfriend, Corey, came? He had flown from Toronto with Meghan. They came together. In a private plane that people suggest was paid for. That's not proven by Rory McIlroy. I mean, I think you have to be one of the people that have contracts with NetJets to fly it. Like, I don't think any Tom, Dick, and Harry can just get on the phone and say, hey, NetJets. Like, you buy packages to, like, either you have access to the plane 24/7 and a pilot's always ready, or you have to let them know 24 hours in advance and then they'll get a plane and a jet. So it's not like you don't have the same plane, but you get a plane. Unless you want the same plane, that's a different package price kind of thing. It's sort of like rent a plane, but it's part of a club. So that's probably how the connection came to Rory McIlroy, is that he probably was a member of NetJets or whatever they call them. Okay. So Rory McIlroy gets introduced to Corey. And then that night, Meghan leaves the hotel for dinner with Rory McIlroy. Okay. I read it right. At the upmarket restaurant at Fade Street Social, she was spotted looking smitten, gazing intently at McIlroy. Oh, gosh. They sat beside each other, looking very cozy, and chatted all night, reported Alexandria Ryan in a newspaper gossip column. That was Meghan's third night in Dublin. On a previous night, John Fitzpatrick would describe his dinner with her. Oh, Lordy. And later implied that she and McIlroy had secretly met. Meghan's Irish friends assumed that she and McIlroy had also met unseen earlier during her visit. People, now I'm getting confused. Isn't McIlroy the one that did the water dump on her head? Yes. Yes, Rory McIlroy, the golfer, Loved by Tiger, the dumper of frigid water. Why is this so confusing? I mean, maybe because it's a different... No, it's just the same chapter. Is this a flashback and I just missed that? It could be. Am I the only one? Corey is the guy she was dating that was the chef in Toronto, who, after he met Meghan, broke up with his... I don't remember if it was girlfriend or wife now. One of these had a wife, one of them had a girlfriend. And then they both started hanging out with her. But I'm just confused because we had this whole story of how she's hanging out with him in New York and how he came over and they did the dump on the head and she spent the whole night at the bar with them and everything. And now we're telling this story about how she's in Dublin and then Corey flew there to be with her. They flew together to Dublin and then Corey meets Rory the water dumper from New York, although he's from Ireland. He's the golfer. And then she goes out with him that evening. But she came with Corey. So Corey's back in the hotel room, I guess. It's crazy. It's a little confusing because it's Corey and Rory. So it's only one letter difference. But I know we have the people straight. That's crazy. Because now we're in Dublin. So she went out with him in New York after he dumped the water on her head. Wasn't that New York? He was there gallivanting around. All right, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, the only reason it matters is poor Corey is with her and back at the hotel room while she's out gallivanting with Rory now. So the chef is in the hotel who she was dating while the golfer she's hanging out with. And she looks smitten with Rory McIlroy. Okay, they sat beside each other, looking very cozy, chatted all night, reported a newspaper gossip column. That was Meghan's third night in Dublin. On a previous night, John Fitzpatrick, he's the one that owned the Fitzpatrick Hotel that Rory McIlroy would visit when he was in New York, would describe his dinner with her. She's touching every base just to see which one's going to take. Later implied that she and McElroy had secretly met. Meghan's Irish friends assumed that she and McElroy had also met unseen earlier during her visit. I mean, not surprisingly, the newspaper report annoyed Corey Vitello, the chef, back at the hotel, who flew there with her. Not surprisingly. Okay, we are following this, I guess. Again, he challenged Meghan. Had there been an affair? He asked angrily. Empathetically, Meghan denied that she had betrayed Corey. She and McElroy were just friends, she said. Once more, he believed her. Boy, she has a way, doesn't she? She's just special. She knows how to get her scent out there. Her agent, so nod to Mama Alice, her agent called Ryan for a correction. Quote, "They're madly in love," Alexandria Ryan wrote the following day about Meghan and Corey. The two of them were sewn at the hip the entire time they spent in Ireland, end quote. Meghan was relieved. The golfer was not her future, and Corey was still her Toronto facilitator. I am just lost now. Why would she be happy that they're madly in love? Maybe she meant regarding Corey. They were madly in love. That must be what was implied. Okay. Before the two flew on to Paris for the weekend, Gina Nelthorpe Cowan promised her new client an exciting future as a showcased asset. She would arrange fee-paying engagements for Meghan as a public speaker, and she would negotiate a deal for Meghan as the face of a major fashion or skincare brand. "I want to be the face of L'Oreal," Meghan had declared seriously. "I have legs as long as a mile." Their relationship was sealed with a kiss. In her emails to Gina, thanking her for her support, Meghan signed her messages, quote, "Sending love, XOXOXO, hugs and kisses, MM." You guys in the chat are so funny. Okay. The face of Elp. Kibbles and bits. Who says these things about themselves? I know. I don't know. Back in Toronto's Soho House, Meghan's, quote, girl squad was growing in number and importance. Sophie Trudeau's husband had been elected the Liberal Party's leader and was forecast to become the country's prime minister. Martina Sorbara, a singer and a new friend, was the daughter of Canadian politician. I don't know Martina. I know Celine Dion from Canada. That's all I know. And Jessica Mulrooney was still searching for recognition as a social media personality. Her search for fame, including an association with a grocery chain, had faltered, but the relationship with Meghan had grown stronger. Many could not understand Meghan's attachment to Mulroney. She was widely regarded as a bit of a wag, as similar to a glamour-seeking footballer's wife. Meghan's friendship with Mulroney, observed Shinan Govani, whoever that is, Toronto's leading newspaper diarist. That's a thing? Heard of a diarist, was either the result of poor judgment or because there was no one else. There was another, oh, fear not, she'll dump her as soon as she has other friends. There was another unseen characteristic. Meghan suffered terrible envy of the other women's wealth, looks, and social success. What at school and in Hollywood was classed as healthy ambition had metamorphosized into jealousy. Increasingly, envy colored so much of Meghan's life. Meghan regarded the Soho House group as allies to more than just a jobbing actress. The politicians' applause for her speech in Dublin confirmed her new importance. I want to use whatever status I have as an actress to make a tangible impact. The internet was critical to her plans. Apart from promoting products on the TIG in return for gifts or payment, she liked to spread joy to her followers. Oh gosh, this is so funny. These word salads. This is going to be a place of comfort and safety where we can express ourselves, and I will spread joy to other people because we all matter, right? You matter, and I matter. That is Meghan and everyone who's like under 30 trying to make it in the world. Blah, 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 blah. There's a bunch of words that say nothing. Okay. And I say that generally speaking. I've got two girls that are under 30, and they would never speak of such. They're very articulate. What they mean, they say, and nothing extra. Okay. In case no one has told you today, she wrote to her readers one evening, you deserve endless pizza and love. And you have a nice butt. End quote. Everyone, in her opinion, should be free to choose their own reality. That's for sure. And values. Sexual attraction increasingly featured on her website. At the same time, she was becoming intolerant of ideas that did not match her own. She had little patience for other people's values. In her world, she simply got angry with people who refused to agree with her. Uppermost in her mind was her image. Convinced that she was on the cusp of international celebrity, she had become preoccupied with Rachel Zane's character. Constantly, she absorbed Aaron Korsh's vision of Zane, the feisty opportunist with extraordinary manipulative skills. To her delight, Korsh inserted her own personal interests into the script. Zane became a foodie. He also agreed to limit the number of love scenes with her dressed in just a bra. Course also introduced Meghan to the most expensive clothes, calling Meghan, quote, Little Fox. And then the costume designer dressed the actress in Dior, Prada, Burberry, and similar labels. For many viewers, the focus of the series became the outfits. Meghan credited the costume designer with influencing her understanding of fashion, especially the power of white shirts. Oh, she loves a white shirt. Yes, she does. Tom Ford pencil skirts and the importance of the fit. To her disappointment, her costume designer said in an interview that Meghan was not her favorite actress to dress. Oh, how can the fit be that important? Didn't her wedding dress seem a little ill-fitting? Didn't it seem too big or something? Something seemed off on it. Just like Christine Brown. Catherine's fit her like a glove. That's what I picture with a wedding dress because they're custom fit for you. Like it looked like she just pulled it off the rack and it was like, so it looked nice for a regular dress. I mean, not that you'd walk around with a train like that, but I don't know. Something seemed off. Okay. Maybe she lost weight that week leading up to it. I did read something recently where somebody said because something was going on, they said maybe that's why she didn't have time to do a final fitting with her dress. Gosh, I don't remember what it was. Okay. Anything critical alarmed Meghan. Trawling the internet, she read that a handful of viewers had protested that Zayn was about to start an affair. She was alarmed that she, Meghan Markle, was personally blamed. Her own reputation, she feared, was threatened by her portrayal in Suits as an unfaithful woman. Worried about the potential backlash, she beseeched Korsh to end the storyline and the affair. Korsh agreed. Boy, maybe he had a thing for her. She's 6 out of 6 in terms of importance on the show. Why does she have so much influence? It's just the way she is. All right. Korsh agreed, aware that he was not only writing a good story, but also shaping Meghan's real-life character and personality. Strangely, Meghan would later claim, quote, I don't read any press. I haven't even read press for Suits, end quote. Gotta look up that citation to see where she said that. She doesn't read any press. And then literally she went to him and said, these are what people are saying in the press. Unbelievable. Absorbing Korsh's interpretation of loyalty and power play, Meghan was pleased to be cast in what she saw as her true colors, the compassionate mold he was creating. At the end of each day's shoot, seeing the huge amounts of food thrown away, she organized its distribution to Toronto's homeless. In that new image, Meghan placed her status above reality. She wanted wider recognition. During autumn 2014, she featured in, quote, When Sparks Fly for Hallmark Channel TV about a journalist discovering surprises on an assignment in her hometown. The film flopped. Next, to obtain more exposure as an activist and philanthropist, she signed up to a Pentagon-sponsored trip with a group of American entertainers flying on Air Force Two between U.S. military bases in Spain, Italy, Turkey, and Britain. Led by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Martin Dempsey, the service families at every stop were puzzled. Meghan's biographical description, mentioning that she was, quote, actively involved in the socio-political arena, end quote, that she had worked at the American Embassy in Buenos Aires, and that she now works closely with the United Nations women, end quote, made no impression on the audiences. Few knew her name or understood her peppery speech about suits, and she looked pained when asked to sing, especially White Christmas. I saw a clip of that. I don't think she knew any of the words to White Christmas. I mean, everybody was singing it on stage. There was like I think everybody was singing it. All the troops were singing it, but on the stage there were like 6 people maybe, and they all had microphones, and she was one up there at the end, and they were singing White Christmas, and she's like, White Christmas. And she would like talk to the guy next to her, and then she would like, it was so uncomfortable to watch. Okay. Her anchor throughout this time was Corey Vitiello. He's the chef. Thanks partly to him, she enjoyed life in Toronto. Joan Vitiello, his mother, was convinced that Meghan was a saint. Unlike the Engelsons 5 years previously, Joan welcomed Meghan as her son's potential future wife. At the outset, Meghan seemed tempted. In December of 2014, she flew with Corey to Florida for the Miami Art Week. Invited by Marcus Anderson to stay at the Soho Beach house, she was, as usual, hunting for contacts. Anderson arranged for her to sit during lunch next to Misha Nonu, an aspiring fashion designer, the daughter of a Bahraini father and an English mother. Quote, I am very spiritual, Nonu had once said. I meditate twice a day, and I love gong baths and sound healing. Nonu, Meghan later wrote in the TIG, was, quote, the kind of woman you instantly adore, end quote. Like Meghan, Nonu was eager to climb that greasy pole. And to Meghan's admiration, Nonu had stepped up in the world. At a 3-day wedding party in Venice, she married Alexander Gilkes, an old Etonian friend. I was going to say Estonia, but it wasn't. It's Etonian. Old Etonian friend of Princes William and Harry. Oh, I've never seen it written like that before for some reason. Okay. An old Etonian friend of Princes William and Harry. Meghan became persuaded that Nonu's apparently rich British husband was an ideal type for herself. Shortly after Christmas, Meghan flew to Los Angeles with Vitinello, staying at the house of another actress from Suits. She invited Thomas and Doria for lunch. During a pleasant day, she gave both parents a gift of $5,000. Isn't she generous? What did we say she was making per episode? It was a lot of money. Do you guys remember? I mean, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Okay. She gave them each $5,000 after all he did for her. $50K. Thanks, Wendy. $50,000 an episode. She gave mom and dad each a generous $5,000. Thomas paid for everything for her. Her schooling, her theater, her college, her apartment, her wedding. Unbelievable. Oh, thanks, Maureen. I'm thinking Etonian was like some sort of country. That's why I kept thinking, because I had Estonia in my head. And I thought it was like, that doesn't say Estonia. There's no S. Etonian means somebody who went to Eton. Got it. Now that makes sense to me. See, what would we do without you? Yeah, so now, yeah, she's moving in now. Meeting people from Eton. Yes, where the princes went to school. Yes, she's moving on up. Or anybody of wealth and prestige, basically. Okay. Thomas met Corey for the first time. Just a nice guy, not special, Thomas concluded. Corey quickly forgot the event. 7 weeks later, Corey was absent from Meghan's Valentine post on the TIG. This Valentine's Day, she wrote, I will be with friends, running amok through the streets of New York, likely imbibing some cocktail that's oddly pink and jumping over icy mounds in my new shoes through the salted, snowy streets of the West Village. But those shoes, by the way, were my gift to myself because I worked hard. Because I'm not going to wait for someone to buy me things I covet, nor do I want to. And because I want to treat myself as well as I want to treat myself as well as I treat those dearest to me, because I am my own funny Valentine. My funny Valentine. Oh, Lordy. End quote. Pertinently, she conjured a fantasy to describe herself as single and in a funk. The solution, she explained after chatting with her suit's sister wives, was self-love. She should give herself the same love and acceptance, she concluded, as she showed to everyone else. I decided to be my own Valentine. Meghan had decided that her long-term future was not with Corey. She had set her sights higher. New York, she decided, was the key to her ambition. She wanted to emulate her idols, Angelina Jolie and Emma Watson. The end. All right. Very good. I'll count up how many pages we've been doing and get an idea, and that'll determine, but we'll read about the same amount. Figure out what we're doing next week. So that was 3 chapters. The next 3, it'll be easier if I just look from the front, are Hillary, then Watershed. I don't know what that was referring to. And then Rwanda. Okay. Hillary, Watershed, Rwanda. And that'll take us to almost 100 pages. Well, we might end up reading the Reitmans too, because that'll take us to 100 pages. The Reitmans, take 2. Gosh, who were the Reitmans again? Isn't Reitman the last name of her first husband? Do you guys remember the Reitmans? It does get juicier as it goes on, doesn't it? I am really starting to enjoy. I just can't wait until she just meets Harry, because from then on, every single word I care about. A lot of this is back history, but it's important to establish who she is. And I'm guessing we might get the same thing from Harry, because this is called Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. So it's been very Meghan focused so far, but I imagine we're going to get a little bit. Although, I don't know. He wrote his book, and there's so many books written about him. It probably is focusing more on Meghan because nobody wrote a book about her. As we can tell from in here, I'm not alone in the fact I had no idea who Meghan Markle was. Somebody said, "Who's Meghan Markle?" I would have said, "Oh, it's got to be the name of somebody, a cartoon, a girl on PBS cartoon Saturday mornings." I don't know. Sounds like Meghan Markle, the red curly hair, like a peppermint patty kind of Meghan Markle. Yeah, I had no idea she was an actress. She thinks she's all that, though. All right, that's good. So yes, Friday we are watching a show called 3 Wives and One Husband. I know for a fact that it is on Amazon Prime, but I believe it's also on Tubi, and Tubi is free. So anybody who doesn't have Amazon Prime can watch it on Tubi. Although what I would do is I would hit play on Tubi and then set your watch timer or set a timer, go do something else, and then come back if you want to watch it together with us so that you can get through all the commercials, because I have Amazon Prime, so I won't have any commercials. So we'll go through it and, just kind of comment along the way. But I won't even know when I looked at it, I know it doesn't even show where the commercial breaks were. I mean, maybe it'll be obvious when I watch it. I'm not sure. All right. So yes, Wendy, we're going to do a live on Friday, this channel. 3 Wives and a Husband. Go look for it. It's one other place too. I can't remember where. Maybe a paid site. I don't think it was on Max. I think I looked there first and it wasn't there. So then I Googled and I saw Amazon Prime and I'm like, okay, I have that. But then I saw Tubi, and Tubi's free. So everyone should be able to follow along. No, it's 3 Wives and One Husband. Oh, you have Amazon Prime. Perfect. You'll be able to follow along. It's the wives first, then the husband. 3 Wives and One Husband is the name of it. Yeah, we'll do 7 o'clock. I just want to make sure I don't have something really early Saturday morning where I have to push it back to 6. I don't. We'll do 7 o'clock on Friday night. Be there or be square. I don't know what channel. It's all different depending on if you have cable, I don't know what it's on. I just know that Tubi and Amazon Prime have it. I don't even think it's on a channel anymore. I think it's only streamed on certain platforms like Tubi and Prime because it's around a long time ago. It may have been TLC originally, but it's not on there anymore. So I think you just have to stream it on one of those 2 and then just put it in the search bar and it'll pull it up. All right. Oh, which of my channels? I apologize. This one. I'm saving the other one for just 100% Sister Wives. So it'll be here. It'll be here. It'll be on this one. Even though it's they are Sister Wives, but just everything that's not the actual Sister Wives show is here. And then that one is just pure Sister Wives show. All right. Tubi, I think it's Tubi. To be or not to be. Oh, I thought you were asking how to spell it. That's funny. To be or not to be. That's right. All right, Miss Lita. Good to see you too. All right, that was a lot of fun. I don't have an outro, so I apologize. But I have an idea and I have some clips saved for it. So next Wednesday, we will do probably 3 more chapters and try to be here a little bit early so you can catch the whole intro. It's pretty good. Have a great week. I'll see you on Friday night. Take care. Love you, sister friends. Bye. And adieu to you.